This time on Video Game Tango, Wrath of the Lich King Classic is out, Overwatch 2 is out, the RTX 4090 weighs about as much as 2 PS5s and an Xbox Duke controller, and we have a bunch of demos to recommend you try out during Steam Next Fest happening this week.
Nick here from BGT, promising only the most perfect gold standard premium advice for minors that is totally safe and not illegal.
Once I tried Video Game Tango with butter, everything changed.
My name is Andy. This is Video Game Tango. Welcome back to Video Game Tango. Hello.
There might only be two of us in the next 20 minutes.
I'm still here. I'm just holding in my noises.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, hey, we've got news. Steam Next Fest is happening right now. We'll get to that later.
It is.
Until then,
That next.
I'd like to do a little bit of follow-up on some news we talked about regarding the new RTX 4000 series, specifically the RTX 4090.
Real-time xylophones.
On purpose, I haven't shown you guys these photos, but let's take a look at a good size comparison for the 4000 series cards, the ones that you're supposed to somehow get in a PC case. So I got a couple photos to share with you guys.
All right.
This, on the far left, is a 4090 graphics card. This is the Founders Edition, probably going to be the smallest of the RTX 4090s. They are being compared to an Xbox Series X and a PlayStation 5.
Where are you supposed to put it?
Yeah, dude. It's
Is it
fucking
supposed to sit,
crazy.
like outside of your computer and then like wired to your motherboard.
Dude.
Probably the only way to keep it cool.
Oh my God.
It looks like a Fallout plasma battery.
It's nearly 4 slots wide. It's insane. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
So we were talking about how it was going to be power hungry, how we thought they were going to be big, but like seeing them side by side, the length of the card is like a couple millimeters taller than an Xbox Series X. And it probably is like 45 to 50, no, it's probably more than that, like 55 to 60% of the volume of an Xbox Series X.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's the Founders Edition. That's probably going to be
What's
the smallest
Keepers
SKU.
Edition?
Well, that hasn't been announced yet.
Okay.
So that one's really big. But let's talk about
that's the 4090 though, right? Isn't like the 4070?
Sure, yeah. This is the top tier card. This is going to be the biggest one, most likely.
I mean, because the 70 is going to be like the flagship of the series. Again.
No,
Or
then
the
the 80s are kind of known as like
like your.
Those are the hardcore gamer cards.
Yeah.
These are like the extreme. These are like money is no, spare no expense.
Yeah, because you're going to have to fucking
Money's no issue.
buy, like, you're just going to have to install your computer into your house, into your wall or something. Over there,
for
like,
real. This is like graphics cards are getting wall sized.
It is bonk.
So that is a Founders Edition. Again, probably the smallest of all of the 4090s. Here is an add-in board partners. This is the Gigabyte Aorus card. This is the 4090. And this is nearly as big as a PlayStation 5. It's as tall, and it's probably got the, again, 50%, maybe more percent of the volume of a PlayStation 5.
It's like one of those old CD cases from the 90s where you had 3 CDs vertically, but like 2 of them.
For real.
And they're full.
Now, these are, I think these are 100 millimeter fans, and you have 3 of them butted up right next to each other. So you have 300 millimeters of just fan, not including the housing in these things. And the thickness, boy, she thick.
Mm-hmm.
That's a thick card. She thick.
That is a 4-slotter. You won't be able to use any other PCI Express on your motherboard. Like straight up, I don't think you could use this in conjunction with a capture card.
Yeah, you're going to have to make a new style of motherboard where the PCI slots are in different locations.
The issue with that is the manufacturers for motherboards are already struggling, getting cramming.
They
right.
can't design a whole new board.
Now there is eATX. That's the extra long ATX style motherboard in which you might get more PCI Express slots, but you're going to need that if you're planning on getting the 4090 and having anything else plugged into your PCI Express slots.
Pretty crazy.
Fucking wild. Yeah, I saw these photos and I'm you look at it next to a standard size.
So you got that in the case.
Yeah.
Where the fuck is the power supply going to go with that fucking beast in there?
elsewhere.
Like, you're going to have to get one of them fucking hamster, like a glupal box to fucking power that motherfucker. So you're just, pounding your feet on the...
I mean, you're going to need at least 450 watts is the recommended minimum for 4090. So you'll need more than a hamster running that thing.
Yeah. I have to throw Mike in it.
You'll need a couple mics.
Mike, run.
Run.
Yeah.
So just follow up on that is these cards are monstrous. And system builders out there, just, buyer beware. These things are power hungry. They also require a different style of connector. So there's a new standard coming out for
12 pin, right?
Yeah, 12 pin. But it's not just a 12 pin. They've also got a data line, so it can communicate well enough with a power supply that it doesn't do things like short power supplies because suddenly like it kicks into 100% and it's consuming 600 watts, right?
That's a very good thing to put in.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely. But
I mean, the unfortunate side effect is a few testers have found out that their power supply cables are starting to catch fire. And that's because of the card's size and length. Is they have to the issue that they're running into is they're crimping the power supply cable when trying to plug it in.
And that when that crimp there, it's
yeah, it's causing hot spots.
Resistance.
Yeah, you give it some resistance, it gets hot, and they're starting to catch fire. Fortunately, it hasn't happened in any like user built case yet. And this apparently also applies to the 30 series. There's been no reports of it happening to a user, but people that are testing these cards and testing, variants in, the cable kinks and stuff like that, they are reporting that they're catching fire.
Great.
No, not super great, especially since these cables are much thinner than your old 8-pin and 6-pin PCI Express power cables. So a lot easier to crimp than the old ones were. So just be careful. Upcoming system builders. That's all I have on the 4000 series. I just wanted to bring that up is that, you're going to need a PlayStation 5 slot in your motherboard to install one of these motherfuckers.
Heard you like consoles. So we put a console in your PC.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Well, also big news, maybe not the size of a PS5 in real life, but Rimworld's next update and DLC has finally been announced. A teaser image the other day of this tiefling-looking dude mainlining Baja Blast with a Death Stranding-esque baby on his back. It's like, what the hell's going on there? But no, full information on the Steam page of this next upcoming expansion, Rimworld Biotech. It's kind of a smorgasbord potluck of an update. They're going to be adding in quite a bit of neat stuff. We have the trailer up for one of the older DLCs up because there's no Biotech trailer yet. But as far as Biotech is concerned, 3 features of it are considered the major ones. The ability to control mechanoids, including many new mechanoid types, by turning your colonists into a mechanitor, which he talks a little bit about it in the post. The robots, the mechanoids, are obviously have a lot of things they can do that humans can't. They don't have to worry about food or sleep or all this other stuff, but they cause pollution, which is going to cause issues and consequences and all kinds of infections. So there's a balancing act there. A full system for raising babies, having children, family lineages, dynasties, teaching them, vats to grow them faster, age them faster, which is really good for Rimworld because Rimworld is a storytelling experience and being able to have much more interesting interactions between parents and kids and family lines and all that.
Yeah, having lineage.
Family drama is like, the core of every story. And finally, the ability to genetically modify your pawns with all kinds of new crazy alien-esque xeno mods. You get the DNA from a million different ways. You can buy it or take it from different creatures and do all this gene splicing. A lot of this stuff is covered by mods, but now it's going to be rolled into the base game, which means that those modders can then use this as a base.
Yeah.
And it's good that we had those mods up until now, but it's going to be nice to pare down my standard mod list from well over 200 or 300 mods.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe increase the stability.
Yeah, a little bit. Instead of spending 3 days getting ready to play Rimworld, maybe I'll only spend 2. Lots of startup performance improvements, full painting and color customization for all walls, floors, furniture, and lights, using some new dyes you can grow. The ideology styles are available in the base game. So if you had an ideology of like an example of a streamer I watched the other day, he played an Egyptian game. So like his top hats were the pharaoh's hat, or the swords were... what is the falcata looking sword from Egypt. So those are going to be available in the base game. Useful shelves, so no more need for ogre stack or deep storage. You can actually store more than a handful of things in a given slot, so you don't have to devote 80% of your base to closet.
Good.
New turret types. Pawns are going to have starting items, possessions, which is neat.
Good. Something to take from them.
Yes. Bodies are now going to release a dangerous toxic miasma when they rot, so you can no longer just leave invading raiders out on your front porch unless you want to get nasty, nasty side effects. They're updating the ways you can trade, release, and interact with prisoners. They're including a built-in temperature overlay, so no need for mods for that. Tile inspector update to get more information about the given tile you're hovering over. Overhauling the setting options menu, the quest menu, mod management UI. And this is actually available right now on the Unstable Test beta branch, update 1.4, if you want to check that out. There's no official release date, but the release date will be announced within a few weeks.
Okay, cool.
Yes. So probably pretty soon. Tynan's been working on this like just over a year, and it's probably going to be one of the biggest ones yet. So I am very, very excited.
I know this is. If you had to say that you had a main game, do you think this would be it for you?
I mean, if we're looking at like hours played, maybe not. But when I do play Rimworld, I absolutely enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's like Sims to the nth degree, and it's getting to the point where you can do anything like from ancient Egyptian tribal style to future tech stuff to modern day, especially with all the mods available. Like the game is just an engine to tell stories, and it does a fantastic job of it.
Coolio.
So, that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Oh, Coolio.
Oh.
Yeah, rest in peace.
My bad, guys.
Yeah. Well, other than that, we have the Next Fest to talk about.
We do.
Lots of new games.
Before we get there, though, wanted to talk a little bit about Overwatch 2.
Yeah, that came out yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So I am delighted to say I will be picking it up here in the next few days. Now, I get to say that because the main game, like the game it's free. You get to download, for free. Now, where they're going to get you, where it's not free, are those damnable microtransactions, which I will be avoiding. I'm not even going to be buying a season pass unless I can earn enough credits in-game playing to purchase it, because the Blizzard rule still holds. So I am excited to play Overwatch again, like at the prospect of playing Overwatch again, just because of all the amount of time I dumped into that game.
Yeah.
I've met a lot of really cool people playing online. One of my best buds, I talk to him literally every day. I met playing that game. So, yeah, dude, I'm excited to be a part of the community again, I suppose.
Yeah, I'll be glad to be able to. We plan on trying it out because it's free and give an honest review and opinion of what they've managed to do with it. Assuming we'll ever.
Honestly, dude,
Yeah.
I got a queue waiting at home. Still, there's only 15,000 in front of me. It's gonna be fine. We should be there by the time I'm done with the cast here. We'll be fine. No.
Now, if we're going to talk queue times and we're going to talk time played, last week we were off, but World of Warcraft Wrath of the Lich King came out.
Yeah.
And
2008 again.
that's right, boy. And dude, those were some good days. Boy, man, I'm having the itch is real, man. Like Wrath is calling my name hard. I've stood strong so far and not giving Activision Blizzard any of my money. Hopefully I can remain resolute. But man, so many of my friends are playing. So many of the people that I played with back in the day are jumping back in.
Yeah.
So boy, oh boy, is it difficult. But yeah, if we want to talk about time spent in a game, you can calculate mine in years, not hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a character that I've played for almost 2 years played time, and another one that's like a year and a half played time. So I bet you over the last 19 years that WoW's been out, probably 4 of that has actually been spent playing the game.
Good Lord.
Yeah, man, I've spent a lot of time spent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It seems to have been a relatively smooth launch, other than the fact that there were queue times of several hours on the biggest servers, which, at the end of the day is kind of a player-driven issue. You do get to choose the server that you want to be on.
Yeah, go to a different server.
And free character transfers to smaller servers. So even like, if you and 3 buddies are on one server, but you got 2 new people that are coming because it's Wrath, coming back to the game, all 5 of you can go to a new server, start your own guild and stuff. But, most people don't. They stick with the server. I kind of know what that's like. I've had to deal with bad server queues in my era as well. But, we're watching streamers start their stream 4 and 5 hours late than their normal stream schedule because they had to wait in queue because they're on a streamer server. So, queue times have been pretty bad.
Yeah.
For WoW. They've been worse in Overwatch 2.
Worse in Overwatch 2. So.
Yeah, people that are waiting all day to get in just for the servers to be DDoSed again, which has been Activision Blizzard has had a history of getting DDoSed during big launches, and Overwatch 2 was not immune to that. They've done what they can to avoid it. They're getting constantly DDoSed, and still somehow people are managing to play the game. So that's good on them. For being able to fight the world, and
it's
still
an uphill battle.
No, it really is. If you were to look at the, I wish I'd gotten a screenshot of the Norse attack maps. You can see DDoS attacks live. Because they look at massive packet streams that are cleared DDoS attempts, that are happening to large servers that are known.
Is it? And this is just for people to get their jollies or something. It's like I'm fucking
mostly
with the server because I can.
Yeah, mostly. Nobody really knows where they come from exactly, right? Because it's not terribly now. If you're gonna DDoS Activision Blizzard, it's an expensive endeavor, but you'd be surprised at how cheap it is. You spend like $100,000 in a bot farm, and suddenly you're able to take down some of the world's largest servers and telecom. It's not an uncommon thing to happen, especially in the gaming industry, especially with massive launches like an Activision Blizzard launch.
Is it I just don't understand what it
could be
to ruin people's day. Is that what you're out to do? Oh, okay.
Same reason people grief you in MMOs.
Okay, fair enough.
But it also could be rival companies, right? So
that's what I was saying. Is it would be honestly be like a rival company, some corpo wars kind of shit. Maybe I'm playing too much Cyberpunk.
Maybe a little bit. But no, honestly,
not far off the truth.
No, honestly, yeah, it's because of the amount you'd have to spend to take down a game like Overwatch 2, which they've been working on their tech to try and make sure that doesn't happen for quite some time, like literally since the advent of the internet. For them to be able to take them down takes something kind of special and probably a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this isn't, Teapot Uber doing his thing. This is like a coordinated effort.
Maybe.
Okay.
We don't
know.
We don't
know, but
yeah.
Right.
The people that run these bot farms, they're never going to come out in daylight and be like, yeah, we run these massive bot farms that we use to DDoS.
Y'all
here are all the people
petty.
that pay for us to
Y'all
do
are
it.
being petty. Knock that shit off.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait a couple days, see where it's standing. Maybe by, worst case scenario, a week goes by before things settle down.
Wait for a hot patch or two,
Last I read, the DDoS attacks were over, but the queue times are still lengthy, just people trying to get in.
Yeah, it's a new game. People want to play, I get that.
Yeah, and if you're... Yeah, even the largest World of Warcraft servers, because, Wrath of the Lich King has been out for a week, most servers, you're not going to get queue times except for during peak hours. So the same thing's probably going to happen for Overwatch 2. The hype is going to die down a little bit. People are going to get their jollies in the first week and drop it and go back to their mains, that kind of thing. So, yeah. It's also free. So more people are going to be picking it up than,
it's free.
The hype train is going to be real. So more players than they could anticipate, right? Because there weren't pre-orders of the game, so they couldn't calculate how many people were going to jump on.
Yeah, that's
just
a fair
guess.
point. That's a fair point.
Yeah,
1 bajillion.
probably pretty close. It is Overwatch. So with that done, we should probably get to Steam Next Fest.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be a good idea.
Let's steam on to it.
This is a game that we've talked about previously. This is Manor Lords.
Ooh.
I think this was like one of your big picks just a few weeks ago, wasn't it, Josh?
Yeah, just a little while ago. This was a good one.
Yeah, and so the way we filtered these is I took the top 15 with a couple exclusions. One was a porn game, one was a Lego game. But the top 15 otherwise on the most wish-listed games in Steam Next Fest. For those of you that don't know what Steam Next Fest is, it's where a lot of the smaller developers and some bigger developers even put out demos for games on Steam for a week to get some hype and hopefully wish list and maybe even some pre-order sales in. I highly recommend checking it out. There are a lot of really good demos out there. I've checked out a couple of them. I played one today we'll talk about later. And some of them look very promising. Some of these lists, or some of these games on this list, are going to be relatively familiar to you that keep up with us week by week, including Manor Lords. We have talked about this before. Manor Lords is a medieval strategy game featuring in-depth city building, large-scale tactical battles, and complex economic and social simulations. Rule your lands as a medieval lord. The seasons pass, the weather changes, and cities rise and fall. It's by Slavic Magic. It's going to be on Steam. Still release date is TBA, but there is a demo available right now that you can check out and play the game. If you don't end up checking out the demo, at least there's some gameplay on YouTube now. So if it is something that you can decide either through demo or watching somebody play, if you want to pick it up.
One thing I did try to do in the show notes that we can probably post in the after notes, links to some of the YouTubers I watch that did really good videos on these. Party Elite did a really good video on Mandalore a couple months ago. And he's talking about how engaged the dev was with the audience in the Discord server that is playing this game. And it's coming together to be, surprisingly, might be like one of the best city management games. It's aiming to be vaguely, mostly historically accurate. I haven't played the demo yet, but I've watched quite a bit of gameplay.
Yeah.
And they're doing a really good job with it.
I've watched some gameplay as well. And that's, you guys might have noticed through watching us or listening that we've kind of pivoted a lot towards more smaller developers and smaller titles. There are just a huge wave of other podcasts that you can listen to get your AAA on. So we've decided we're not going to.
They get enough fucking advertising as it is.
Well, and it's not like we don't talk about AAA games when there's something to talk about. But, when we're talking Overwatch 2, Call of Duty 306, it's kind of the same games over and over again in the AAA sphere. So we like to highlight the games that aren't getting as much attention, whether they be AAA or more in our wheelhouse is going to be these smaller indie titles, or at least smaller developers from smaller studios.
Favor. That's what we're doing.
And we want to highlight these because these are good games.
Yeah.
You
play games because they're fun or they're good or they're engaging or they're satisfying, right? It doesn't matter who made them.
Exactly.
You find amazingly fun games. That's what we should be here for.
Yep, that's right.
Showing you off all the fun ones. So yeah, Mandalore is chugging along, like you said, no release date, but the progress is coming quick.
Yeah. And then that kind of indie developer interaction, where they open up their own Discord. Mm-hmm. A lot of these, if you go to the Manor Lord website, they have a link for their Discord.
Yeah.
So you can just join their Discord. You can ask the developer questions. You can talk to a community that's had early access to this game for longer than others.
It's easier than you think.
Yeah, and we've talked about Gates of Pyre several times on the show, and because it's being made locally here to us, and that's a rarity. And they have a Discord that's open. So if you want to ask the devs questions, or if you want to get notified about new builds or news, or when people are going to be streaming the game, or when they're going to have beta weekends or something like that, you can just jump in their Discord. That's another really cool thing about talking about these smaller studios.
And it's also really cool because there's a whole community of, if you like the game, there's a whole community of people in there that also really like the game.
Yeah.
And you guys can, I mean, start linking up, talk about shit you guys like to do.
If you come from communities like Overwatch or Call of Duty or Battlefield where communities are inherently toxic, I'm not even going to mention the most toxic communities, indie games are so different. The few people who are playing these games love them, and it's really rare to find highly toxic communities in small indie games.
Yeah.
So also a good point in that favor. But on a kind of flip side of the coin, we have another game coming up here. I'm covering Undecember, a hack and slash action RPG in the vein of PoE and Diablo. That's what the copy say here, in which players are able to surpass the conventional limits of skills by endlessly combining variety of skill and link runes, become a rune hunter, and experience the joy of farming and growth. Which is probably why Google thought it was a farming game.
Yeah, maybe.
Farming
Yeah.
Ingress aside, because this is a Korean MMO, this is a very pretty looking action RPG. We got some footage up on here. Again, somewhere kind of between Diablo and Path of Exile. The game is not out with a worldwide release, but the Korean version has been out for some time. It's available on TapTap on mobile if you want to check it out, and you can read Korean. But from everything I can see, much like, unfortunately, a lot of Korean MMOs, most of the reviews that seem legitimate said that it is, at least when it comes to PvP, heavily pay to win. That is yet to be seen in its entirety. I don't want to completely nail the coffin shut.
For sure.
Because the game's not out yet.
And this will be the Western release, which is typically going to be a little bit lighter on the premium transactions.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, right.
Gameplay looks fun. It looks pretty solid from the little clips we have. But yeah, I mean, it really depends nowadays. You never know what you're going to get with these pseudo MMOs that are just vessels for microtransactions.
Yeah.
So after Diablo Mobile, Diablo Immoral.
Is that
what it was called? Yeah, bad taste in my mouth. So fingers crossed that doesn't happen with this game, but don't keep your hopes up.
Yeah, with this one, buyer beware, but you can absolutely check out the demo for free.
Yeah, that doesn't cost you anything.
Yep.
So,
all right, guys. So my offering here is Soulstone Survivors. Now, it also has a bit of a Diablo-y kind of feel. It's from that, top-down kind of thing there. So, face the Lords of the Void and their endless minions. Collect their soul stones and become a god. In this action roguelite, unveil secret spells, craft mighty weapons, unlock multiple characters, discover game-breaking synergies, and conquer the power of the void. Now, guys, this comes from Gamesmithing Limited. It's going to be on Steam. It has a release date of November 7th, so that's
soon.
That's soon. It's coming up on us. The demo is available, but it just, it has kind of that a bit of a cell shading kind of a look. It looks like my first Diablo game, like
it looks kind of like Magicka in a way.
A bit, yeah.
But no, it's a bullet heaven, Vampire Survivors genre. From what we can see, it looks like there might be a paper doll menu of equipment, which would kind of be a neat, kitschy take on the genre.
Yeah,
you get to equip different things.
Yeah, they're doing a little something different when it comes to this genre, because it does look like a Vampire Survivors right? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's definitely the first vibes that I get, but it does look like you have different abilities on your hotbar, a Diablo or
you actually get
a
to
Dark
choose
Dungeon,
when
right?
you cast your abilities. It's not all auto cast.
Yeah, so kind of interesting. I'm wondering if. Well, we don't know anything about the game yet. That's why we want to check out a demo. So this is definitely one of the demos. This is actually one that I have downloaded already. So I do plan on playing it. I haven't played this one today. But what I did play is our next game.
Ooh.
I played a little game. Oh, nope, sorry. This is not the right game.
Nope.
I'll get to that later.
Never mind.
The next game we actually have is Forever Skies. This is a game that we talked about previously. Forever Skies is a first-person action survival game. Return to Earth destroyed by an ecological disaster. Fly a high-tech spaceship, expand, rebuild, and repair it. Scavenge resources to survive. Face the dangers of the surface as you will hunt for viral pathogens to cure a mysterious illness. This is from Far From Home. It's going to be available on Steam, Xbox Series, PS5, and the release date is to be announced. Now, it is there is a demo available, but it is also an early access. So you can play the early access game of it until the launch. And that comes at no cost right now. So you can play a set, like at least most of the game so far. So there is a demo where it does set you in like a choice landscape and give you what the developer thinks is the best part of the experience of the game. But you can play it in its early access form as well. But yeah, super neat looking. It looks like it's a first person survival game. And it's really good looking. It is coming out for the next generation of consoles, so I expect this to be a demanding title. If you look up the hardware specs, so far on Steam, they're TBA. If you look them up on Google, it tells you that you just need like a 14-year-old processor to run it. I really doubt that based on the visuals that we're seeing here. The fact that all of its trailers have a 4K offering. I expect that this is going to be a fairly demanding game. I would say you're probably not going to want to look into this unless you have like a 1060 or above, or if you want to check it out on PS5 or Xbox Series. But yeah, fairly demanding game, first person perspective, survival game, and it's gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm getting Subnautica vibes from the concept.
I also get a little bit of Subnautica vibes.
Not so much underwater alien planet as it is post-apocalyptic Zeppelin Earth planet.
Yeah, high up in the sky, kind of like a BioShock Infinite, kind of like not the same feel, but like you know that you're in the air, right? Like you're on rooftops of these epic skyscrapers and that kind of thing.
Who doesn't like piloting Zeppelins? Right?
True.
This is fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. And we had, early access demo available. Okay. Next up is a game that I am excited to try. I'm glad there's a demo. I do want to give that a shot. One of the YouTubers I watch, Potato McMiskey, said this is his favorite city building game ever made. And this is a guy who streams city building games for a living. Against the Storm is a really neat take on a city kind of management game where the planet has this constant like heavy storm season and then a not storm season, and the races that you play as, the humans or lizardkin or whatnot, they have to like gain prestige from the queen to go out and start settlements, and you have to keep the queen happy while also keeping in mind that you only have so much time before like the next storm, while also keeping your people happy with their luxuries, as well as building up your base and collecting different resources. And it plays a bit like a roguelite. You're not going to be playing the same map for dozens and dozens and dozens of hours. But each time you play, the map's a little different. You might focus on producing food goods or foodstuffs for one to try to get points to earn the queen's favor, and the next map might be more combat or violent related, or building supplies. And there's a lot of neat little interplaying systems from what I'm seeing that gel really well together. Sometimes that stuff can get really janky with too many resources and too many numbers, but they found a really nice sweet spot for this one. From the devs, a dark fantasy city builder where you must rebuild civilization in the face of apocalyptic rains as the queens of Viceroy lead humans, beavers, lizards, and harpies to reclaim the wilderness and secure a future for civilization's last survivors. I highly recommend checking out the demo, and if not, even just giving it a glance on YouTube. This demo is available, and looks like the release date is October of this year. So demo... Is that what that says there?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay,
you're correct. Yeah.
A little bit of time for the demo and then the full game release.
Yep.
And it's really a neat idea to take the roguelike concept and apply it to a game that's kind of half RTS, half city builder.
Yeah.
Is really fantastic.
And where like time is really of the essence, right? Because of the storm.
Yeah, you get a lot of choices presented to you with pros and cons on how you want to progress, and if you're not taking things like the storm into consideration, you can end up shooting yourself in the foot. Even like the rate at which you expand, you can see in the trailer there's these fog areas between the trees, and there can be good resources and item caches, but it can also be enemies. Right. And trying to figure out like, should I do that one or not? Sometimes that decision is made for you. The queen will be like, hey, I will reward you more prestige if you crack open 3 of these fog areas in the next like 5 minutes. and you're like, can I risk doing that? You know, I don't know what I'm going to find. Am I ready to do it? And yeah, watching Party Elite play it, it looked like a blast. So excited to give this one a shot.
Yeah, it looks super cool. This is definitely on my list to download.
Very Warcraft 3-esque graphics.
Yeah.
But updated. Yeah. What do you have for us, Josh?
Well, this is actually the game I'm most looking forward to downloading. This is Zero Sievert. Now, this bad boy is a tense top-down shooter that challenges you to scavenge a procedurally generated wasteland, loot gear, explore what's left of a devastated world. When the odds are stacked against you, you'll need to do more than just survive here. Now, this looks like, little like basic 2D World War Z, right? You're zipping around in here. Not World War Z, DayZ. It kind of reminds me of old school Fallout.
Yeah.
Heavy stalker shot of Chernobyl.
Big time stalker.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it just looks so cool. I love how, like, in the preview here, we're seeing all kinds of different enemies, everything from zombies and boars to, I think, xenomorphs at one point here. Yeah, there they are. And it looks like other humans. Yeah. And now I don't know if those are players or just other peeps.
Pretty sure
or
it's
just
single
little
player.
It's just single player, so other little NPCs in there. But
check that out.
Man, this game, it looks so cool. Like, it makes 14-year-old Josh really excited.
Yeah.
It speaks to something deep inside me there, right, guys?
Nuclear Throne kind of graphics.
Yeah.
Or Enter the Gungeon,
Enter the
maybe.
Gungeon. Mm-hmm.
Now, and this bad boy is coming to Steam. It's from Cabo Studios, and it's going to be here November 22nd, 2022. So, again, pretty close, guys. Pretty close. The demo is available now. I'm looking forward to playing this one. This one looks really cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, me too. I don't know how brutal it's going to be, but it looks like it's going to be fairly difficult.
Yeah.
I'm getting huge Stalker Anomaly vibes.
Yeah,
like,
it even showed one.
Yeah, it did towards the beginning.
Thing.
Yeah, some kind of lightning orb, and that just
Could be something else, but yeah.
For sure. But I'm looking at this, and I'm thinking, okay, this is top down, 2D sprite based Stalker.
Yeah,
and that is a bunch of words that I like strung together.
Yeah, we don't get nearly enough Stalker style games anymore. You know, the Collapse of Society plus weird, dark sci-fi stuff. You know, it's easy enough just to be a regular post-apocalyptic human thing, but
and of course
the weird stuff, it gets fun.
This also takes place in Eastern Europe, so yeah.
Where all Stalker things take place.
That's right, exactly. Where DayZ takes place and Stalker. Yeah, it's where the best things happen, guys.
It's like if a place is gonna melt down, it's gonna be fucking Eastern Europe. You know?
As far as I can tell, it is single player.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can play DayZ without all the frustration, right? No.
Well, maybe. We'll see.
With half the frustration.
With half the frustration. Yeah. Next up on the list is a game that I like to call Asterigos, Curse of the Stars, and that's because that's what its name is. Embark on a journey full of dangers in this action RPG, inspired by Greek and Roman mythologies. Explore the breathtaking cities of Aphes and forge your way through legions of unique foes and mythical bosses to discover the truth behind the city's curse. It's made by Acme Game Studio. I had to look into that and see what other games they've made. Okay. This is their first foray.
Oh.
Kind of surprising considering that we're going to be getting this not only on PC via Steam, but Xbox Series, Xbox One, PS4, and PS5. It's a gorgeous looking game. I don't know how well it's going to play on Xbox One and PS4, but we'll see, especially from a smaller developer getting that... getting the FPS right and the optimizations correct for older consoles now at this point, because it looks, not like insanely graphically intensive, but it looks very professionally done. Yeah.
If I'm going to be rude and a bit honest, it looks like if Immortals Phoenix Rising was a good game.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It's funny because the next fight we see is a giant phoenix. Yeah. It's rising. But so it also looks like I did read some more into it other than the Steam blurb. A lot of people are calling it, especially people that have played already, a Souls-like. I have yet to see Souls-like gameplay. It doesn't look like it's going to be as torturous.
Looks like you're fighting a lot of
Souls-like.
bosses.
Yeah.
So that's what they might mean, that like the game's focused around
That
boss fighting.
That might very well be the translation that I needed. But yeah, the game, this is a AAA quality in terms of graphics game, coming from a studio that hasn't made games previously.
Yeah.
And it looks extremely well polished. It's coming out on PC and all of the consoles, including the next gen consoles. The combat looks super smooth, based on the, quote unquote gameplay trailer that we're getting here. And yeah, I'm excited for this one. It looks pretty neat.
Yeah, I would assume that a lot of the employees for Acme Studio probably come from a lot of other.
There has to be some pedigree.
Projects.
Yeah, there has to be some pedigree.
Some scrub group
Mm-hmm.
that started making games.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a first game here.
No, it doesn't. Yeah,
I would say like the one thing that throws me off a little bit about it is some of the movement that I'm seeing on the characters. Like it's smooth, but it looks a little weird.
Jank.
Like there's a little, exactly, a little jank to it, just a little.
For sure, a little bit of floaty footsteps. That kind of thing.
Right. But it's, I mean, for being a first game, holy smokes!
Yeah.
It's Angry Pumbaa.
That has a release coming soon. The demo is available now on Steam, but you can buy it on all of the aforementioned consoles and PC on October 11th.
Yeah. Looks like they developed in 2016, so they've had 6 years, give or take a few, to work on this.
It makes sense with the polish that we're seeing. Yeah,
it's a good sign.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we have yet another ode to everyone's favorite potion seller.
Yep.
Potionomics is another game in the kind of recitaire genre. And I was introduced to this one through actually kind of a ludology talk on the idea of haggling in games. Again, I got a link to Mental Checkpoint's video on how haggling and bartering and whatnot is portrayed in games and if we should use it more and less. If I can't think of them all off the top of my head, but a game where you run a shop where you sell things to adventurers. This is becoming a very big genre. There's a lot of games like it. Off the bat, the baseline, this game is adorable. Like the character facial animations and things look fantastic. It's got a lot of heart and character to it. What is really neat, and I think what might actually get me to play this, given that I've played a lot of business running games, is this is also a deck builder. When you are selling things to people or meeting up with your friends and, doing NPC interaction, you have these social cards that are similar. What's that game that Mike played where the combat was like, it was a card game?
Slay the Spire?
No, the combat was like social fighting. It was like a sci-fi game. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I don't remember.
Haggling and dealing with people to try to get the best deals is played out kind of like a Slay the Spire-esque card game. But yeah, a lot of really neat stuff going on in this one. I have yet to play it myself, but it looks like there is a demo available. The release is October 17th. It's just like a week and a half, which is fantastic.
And you're playing, when you're playing the demo, you're playing a nearly complete game.
Yeah. Voracious Games, I'm not familiar with, but when I did watch, again, we'll link to that. You can search up Mental Checkpoint Potionomics on YouTube if you want to find it yourself. But really good video on how this game does something pretty interesting with the whole narration, haggling, bartering mechanics that we don't see a lot in games. Plus, you get to craft your own potions and decorate your workshop in all these cool ways. And
it does really fit into that nice little cozy kind of a gaming feel there. So
yeah, I think this one edges on, the vibe is definitely cozy, but I think it can get a little complicated from what I've seen. I could be wrong, but definitely not a point against it. But yeah, I'm going to give this one a try before next week.
For sure.
What do you got for us, Josh?
Now, what I'm next bringing, guys, is Earth from Another Sun. Now, in this one, we're going to be exploring the galaxy, establish and grow your very own space empire.
I like space.
Who doesn't like space, right? Now, you're going to be building up trade networks, You're going to fight alongside your armies. You're going to command. You're going to conquer. And it's all going to be done in this galaxy. Now, once you rule over all, remodel the galaxy, of course, as you see fit, because I brought peace and stability to my new empire.
Is this how democracy dies?
Yes, it is. So long, and by the end, long live the emperor. Now, this bad boy is going to be on Steam. It's to be announced in 2023, but the demo's available, guys. You're noticing a pattern, I'm hoping, for this evening's games. There is a demo available. Now, this one, it's pretty cool, guys. So do you like building spaceships? Well, you can do that. Do you like leading armies in large-scale battles? Well, you could do that too.
Yeah, I get a little blown away from what I'm seeing here.
Yeah, there is literally anything you can think of to do. It feels like you can do in this game. You want to be the frontline commander and go through a fucking bullet hell of energy pylons being fired at you. You can do that too. There's just a lot to take in on this game, dude.
I'm watching you jump into tanks. And then mechs, and then bigger mechs,
and then flying vehicles, and then you're also crafting handguns right in the next scene.
Yeah, I keep thinking I'm watching multiple games back to back, but no, this is like somebody said, I'm going to take Supreme Commander and Planet Side
and Cycle Frontier,
the Cycle Frontier. And Sins of a Solar Empire and Mass Effect and put them all into one game because that's like what I just saw.
Oh, let's sprinkle some Gundam on there real quick.
Yeah, a little Gundam. Yeah, some of those mechs were hundreds of feet tall.
Yeah, that's fucking sick.
But yeah, no, I was making fun of the hands in the beginning. But no, it opens up looking like No Man's Sky with all these different like this is ambitious as shit.
Yes.
And I definitely need to look more into this.
For sure.
Because I'm pretty sure they just showed me 6 different video games.
Yes, this is another demo that I have downloaded. Haven't started yet. It's a big download. I don't remember how big it is. It's not nearly as big as a game that we talked about earlier, Forever Skies. That one is 24.4 gigs for its demo.
Oh man,
it's a big boy. So I expect the requirements for that are probably going to be
some demos
massive.
give you the full game and then just limit how much you can play.
And that might be the case. We talked about how early access was available. It might just be the early access client. It'll be interesting for sure.
Crazy.
Yeah, no, dude, that game's throwing all kinds of vibes.
Oh yeah,
it's hard to pin down a singular one, honestly.
Dude, that game is vibing.
It's vibing.
Vibing off the charts. Next game we've got up, COSMATEER. Design and simulate the starship of your dreams. Command it in epic battles and manage your crew while exploring a dangerous galaxy. Play alone or with friends. Test your ship in online PvP and let your imagination reach for the stars. This comes from Walternate Realities. It is going to be on Steam. Full release is October 24th, 2022, but of course the demo is available now. It's also out for early access. It's an interesting one. It's a top-down ship builder and management game with emphasis on combat. Yeah. It's very reminiscent of, please, Nick, I know you know the game.
There's Space Pirates and Zombies. There's Star Sector.
Yes.
There's FTL.
Yes, FTL was a big one.
FTL.
I am thinking of FTL. As far as the graphics go, it's very much FTL vibes. Mm-hmm. And boy, oh boy, does this look cool.
Yeah, this just came on my radar about a week ago when I watched Splattercat play some. As far as I remember, it's been off Steam, or not on Steam, but in dev for quite a while. Mm-hmm. And yeah, full-on Lego bits and bobs. You build your ship, and as you destroy enemies, you go out and take the stuff from their wreckage and then add it onto your ship or break the parts down to make your own things. And one neat thing it does, unlike something like FTL, is all of your people on your ship, like your reactors, when they produce power, they actually produce batteries, and those batteries have to be carried to the modules and the guns. So your crew is also kind of like a little management game.
Yeah, you have to worry about efficiency.
Yeah, the layout of your ship is going to determine how efficient it is.
Yeah.
But no, I watched him play, and he was fighting some defense stations and some guys, and just the gaming knows exactly what it is. Yeah. What I loved about it is if you need to build a new thing, you just build it. Like, as long as you have the means to, you don't have to go find some station off in the void that might sell a copy. You know, if you have the tech or whatever to build something, your people have the resources, they just go over and build it. So the actual editing of your ship is, you can pause the game while you do it, I think. That's all. It's either real time or just instant, however you want to do it. But lots of different weapon features and really chunky explosions and bits flying off, and it's got a little bit of that Star Sector Galaxy feel.
Yeah.
As far as trading and relationships with factions and all the other things you get in these kind of top-down 4X-based games, I'm not sure, but the combat they have down pat.
It looks like it's really heavily combat focused.
It's going to have co-op. It's going to have PvP. And yeah, this looks really, really fun.
I really appreciate the modularity of the ships. The fact that like half of a ship is blown off, but the other half is still operating because it can operate by itself. Mm-hmm. Right. I love that concept of like, you know, you can't just fly up to somebody's ship, take out one of their reactors, and now the ship is disabled kind of deal. The fact that you can still continue to fight, continue to manage, and continue to build while combat's happening is really cool. I mean, I think the skill threshold is going to be really high. So skill ceiling is going to be at the maximum, but it also looks reasonably accessible. I don't think it looks too simmy and too complex, but like enough complexity to keep you engaged for sure.
The YouTubers I was watching, they were really praising when you go into the build UI of the ships, there are so many options for like mirroring or things that huge quality of life. Like it almost looks like, you know, when you're designing a Sims house, like you've got all the options you can imagine for making the building process of your ship the least like stressful, frustrating part. That's like, it's not hard at all to get the game to do what you want when you're building the ship, which is really, really cool. And
when you're designing your own ship and you get to, you know, control the layout to that degree, that's really exciting for me.
I have played a lot of top-down space ship games like this in my life. They're near dear to my heart, and I was very surprised because I hadn't heard of this one. It wasn't on Steam.
Yeah.
So to know that it's coming out so soon is really great.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Tectonica. I watched a little bit of this one, but then I fell asleep. I was only like 20 minutes into it. Tectonica looks pretty neat. It is a first-person factory automation game set beneath the surface of an alien planet, working alone or in co-op, which is great, to build factories, gather resources, research new technologies, and mold destructible terrain. You can establish a base of operations and uncover long-forgotten secrets. This is by Firehose Games. Release date to be announced. It is currently in early access, but there is a demo. From the little I saw, I watched Nookery play it for a little while. It looked pretty great. It's a bit, what were we saying? Subterranean Satisfactory. Yeah. Was a good way to put it. Looks like it's got a bit more story than Satisfactory does. I could be wrong. But given the opening 10, 15 minutes, it seems like there's some things there. If you know anything about Satisfactory or Factorio or the Dyson Sphere program, you know what you're getting into here. This one also has what looks like quite a bit of really interesting exploration and discovery of underground caves. I love underground caves.
Me too.
So that is a great combo. I might almost say this is Subnautica Underground.
Yeah, this is Subnautica, Satisfactory. It gave me Deep Rock Galactic vibes, just, you know,
because of the wild alien cave life.
It's super cool. I love the aesthetics here. I did play a little bit of that today. So this is the one you played. This is the one that I played a little bit of. Now, okay, it's super early. I only got to play 20, 30 minutes while I was preparing for the podcast today. But what I played seems tight.
Good.
These biggest
games can be janky sometimes.
Yes. The biggest complaint that I have, because I do have a complaint, but it's not terribly relevant. The biggest complaint that I have is that some of the muscle memory from Satisfactory started to kick in. And this does not play just like Satisfactory.
Okay.
So as far as the complexity of the machines and that kind of thing, definitely seems less in the little bit of time that I've had to play. Definitely seems
less head scratchy.
Yes, a little bit less math involved than something like a Satisfactory or a Factorio.
Okay. Won't have to bust out the graph paper this time.
Maybe. Again, I played for 20, 30 minutes, right? But it definitely doesn't feel as much. It certainly feels simpler. Now, I felt that way about Satisfactory in the beginning too, where all you got to do is get a couple small mobile drillers to drill some ore, and you feed that by hand into a machine, and it does a thing. That's what I've got. That's as far as I've gotten so far in this. Okay. So it'll be interesting to see like how complex it gets. But man, I love the look of it. It controls well. The UI it's going to take a little bit of getting used to, but I think that's to be said about all of these types of games. They are complex games. This seems like it might be a slightly more arcadey version of the Satisfactory, but I don't hate that. I love the sound of that, right? Like it doesn't require, exactly, more accessible and fun.
They can't double down on the like you said, the math aspect of like Satisfactory or Factoria or whatever, because it's an exploration game also.
Yeah.
So I mean, you got to leave room for that.
Satisfactory was an exploration game too. You had a whole planet that you wanted to, or a big chunk of planet that you wanted to explore as well. Like Nick and I probably
didn't seem like kind of a side note. You
did.
explored to find new recipes.
Yeah.
And that was it.
New recipes, but you also needed nodes. Like you had
to find new places to build, but it's not like there was like story content you're finding.
Yeah, not so much. Yeah, this one definitely has a narrative so far. Like it actually has. You see it in the gameplay. The main character that you're looking at is carrying around a cube. That cube talks to you.
Ooh, talking
cubes. It's an AI from a previous life. Is what it sounds like. It's kind of neat. It's got some personality too. It makes a couple snarky jokes while you're holding it and stuff. It's neat. I'm looking forward to playing more of it.
So that was Tectonica.
Tectonica. Now, Josh, you have one more for us tonight.
I do have one more. Now, actually, this is a game I've actually talked about before. When it came out, oh my goodness, it was a few months ago at one of the indie expos that we covered.
Yep.
Now, this is Dredge. Now, Dredge is a single-player fishing adventure with a sinister undercurrent. Sell your catch, upgrade your boat, and dredge the depths for long-buried secrets, more potent than treasure. Explore a mysterious archipelago and discover why some things are best left forgotten. So this kind of fits into that, like some of the stuff. It's really cute looking, but it's creepy. And the score, I remember the score on this being just super fucking creepy. And it turns from a cutesy looking little thing to kind of spooky rather quickly. Right here in the trailer, big fish, Now, as when we talked about it before, it was kind of like, when's it coming out? What's going to happen here? Now, it's still to be announced, but it is in 2023 now. So it's not just that to be announced, here it is date. Mm-hmm. And there is now a demo available instead of just those gameplay looks. So, yeah, we brought it back to talk about it again, guys.
Should give it a shot.
I was going to say, we're dredging it back up, homie. We're dredging it back up.
That's right.
So, yep, like I said, 2023, and the demo is available. Go give it a look-see, guys, or I'm going to have to talk about it a third fucking time.
We'll talk about it on release as well. Check out Dredge, guys. Again, we covered a bunch of games today. Make sure you check out videogametango.com. I've got links to all of the cinematic and gameplay trailers there. We even have some extras from Nick this week. He's contributed for his games, some like long gameplay sessions on YouTube. Check that out, and then more. There were going to be more games that we were going to talk about, but we're running a little bit long this evening, so we're going to go ahead and cut it there. So check out 3 more games from the most wish-listed games selection from Steam Next Fest. But make sure you check out Steam. Go to the Next Fest page. I want to give a shout out to Spooky Milk Life. That's one of the games that we had to omit. It is in the top 15 wish-listed games on Steam right now. And we definitely
exactly what you think it is.
Boy, oh boy, we can't show that on Twitch. That's not YouTube safe either. Like it's
go to Steam and check it out.
Get your own Milk Life.
If you're not 18 plus, you're gonna have to lie about your age to check that one out.
It's all right, you already do. It's fine.
Yep. So, just give a shout out.
Dude, when was the last time you were honest on the internet about your age?
I just don't usually recommend people to do that on our Twitch channel. But
I'm always honest about my age. I'm 34.
Yeah, but whenever the internet was like, "Hey, are you 18?"
Oh, if I wasn't 18, then I was
like,
definitely
of
19 or
course.
20.
Yeah, it was like,
For sure.
Duh, of course I'm 18. Yes.
We recommend every child steals combine tractors and eats fireworks.